The video that I wanted to bring to you guys today will not happen because of shoddy craftsmanship and unscrupulous manufacturers. Let's back this up a little bit. You guys remember a week or two ago, I had a box of goodies that was sent to me from my new friend and subscriber, John. Remember that Stanley hand router that he sent that I was sharing with you? Well, to pull another wonderful treasure out of that box, check it out. Henry Diston metal back saw. Absolutely beautiful. In mint condition. What I have really been looking forward to, and I've been planning this for some time now, was I was going to do a 2-part series, maybe a 3-part series, on how to sharpen these saws. Not only these saws, but as well as rip saws as well. Hand saws, the hand saws that we all have from our grandparents, the hand saws that we've all seen hanging up on the walls of the antique stores. So to do this, as you guys know, that I am a saw filer. I file crosscut saws, but I've never filed a little saw like this before. I've been reading about it. I've been teaching myself everything that I could so that I could share this and share my experience with you guys in a video. But to do this, I need a very special set of files that were not easy to find. So I looked and looked and I read on all the forums, and I ordered these not inexpensive Grobit USA American pattern files in a double slim taper 4-inch 12-piece box here. These are not cheap files. $50 for 12 files. And I pained over that, but I thought, well, that's an investment. These little saw files will last me a long time, probably the rest of my life, because I'm not filing professionally and I take care of my saws. I'm not going to need to file them very much. So I had everything in place to do the video. The files came in a few days ago, and I was so excited to do this series and to see what we could do to the saw, because this saw, this beautiful steel-backed Henry Diston saw, I was going to file in a crosscut pattern, is in good a shape as it is, but the teeth need a lot of work. Not a lot of work, but they need jointed, meaning they need to be evened out and to be refiled. And I was all set to take that on, but to do that I needed these little tiny specialty files. So this morning I got up early and I took them out, and I was excited to share all of this stuff, and I started looking at them closely, and I am not happy. So back in the day, was kind of cool. So they would, when you ship files, they would wrap them just like this in the wax paper, because you don't want your files touching, right? Because they're hard and they'll knock the edges off each other. And so then my initial reaction was, well, that is very nice. Now, I couldn't get from the manufacturer where these were made. I saw a lot of things that said that they were Swiss made. Some people said that they were made in Canada. I thought, well, there's only 2 options. You know, that we don't have good files anymore from the once proud Nicholas File Company and the once proud Simons Company. They've shipped all of their manufacturing off to Mexico, and what they produce now is not worth the cardboard and plastic clamshell that they're shipped in. They're rubbish. This is a real specialty file, a file that was made for saw filers. And as I was going through these and looking at them closely, I was going to choose which file I was going to do for this very special project. I started looking at them, and to my horror, they are rubbish. How can I show you guys? How can I get some... well, I don't know if that's going to come across. Each one of these files, if you look there, maybe you can look and see. Let's see, I'm going to bring you up closer. Let me refocus here. All right, we're going macro here so we can see the horror of these garbage files. These are touted as being saw filer files, something that's for precision, jeweler type of files, you know, something where you're doing really precise work. I mean, what's more important than filing a 150-year-old heirloom saw, fine woodworking saw? I mean, that of all things, that's where you want precision. Look at the twist in that file. You see how it is? It's supposed to have a taper, of course, a taper. But look at the edge, inconsistencies and flat. And each one, it's not, and they're not even inconsistently bad. Each one of them has its own issue. What do we got going on with this one? Again, look at the twist. Look at how uneven the edges and how it rolls around there. Every one, I grabbed every one of these and inspected them to see. Look at this one's bent. You gonna file a saw with that? You gonna file your fine woodworking tools with that? This isn't fit for picking your teeth with. Look at that. Look at the twist in it. Inconsistencies, one after another. Bent ends, bent tangs. Shoddy work. We're gonna put the super macro on here. Look at that. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I'm just going to keep showcasing these. I'll tell you what, are you a manufacturer? Do you manufacture a product of a small company, or have you thought about doing it? Because I'll tell you what, there's armies of men like myself that are screaming for quality. I don't care what it is, whether it be socks or axes or nuts and bolts. Our big companies and manufacturers that are manufacturing many of the tools we have today are just producing garbage. It's just nothing. They're not being made by men who use tools. They're putting flashy colors and slick marketing, and we're spending our hard-earned money on things that are just. Look at this one. That's one of the. Look at it. Shameful. Shame on you, Gorbit. Your files are terrible. And where do we turn? You know, there's not where do we go for good files? I don't know, because I searched on. Look at that. Look at it. It's terrible. I searched. Look, the end is bent. I searched for hours just to find these, and I hear that Baco. Some soft filers said that Baco still makes a good file, but I can't find them. I don't think that they're available in the United States. I looked all over. Amazon has one, and it's been out of stock for forever. And I don't think you look at that. I don't think you can get them. I'll tell you what. But back to what I was talking about. If you want to have a successful business, manufacture something of quality. Again, I don't care what it is, because we'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. But how long does it take? For a guy working by the hour, making 20, 25, 30 bucks, you have to work a long time to pay for something like this. I mean, this is a sacrifice that comes out of your family. And to get these and home, and that they're this type of quality, that they're absolutely useless. I can tell you what, these files are going back, and I'll never buy these files again. And I'll keep looking until hopefully I can find something that I can file a saw with. So fortunately for you guys, I've broken out my electron microscope. And we're going to get into the bottom. Oh, that's kind of a gross, my finger there. Look at it. Precision file. Look at the difference. Look at that. What are you going to do with that? You gonna file a saw with that? Look at the tool marks and the inconsistencies. It's not even flat. This is just one. They all look like this. This one's one of the better ones. Terrible. Look at it. Shameful. How about that right there? Gonna get good work with that? Look how fat we're getting here. Man, makes me... So while I've got the electron microscope fired up, let's take a look at the distant teeth and the reason why it needs a little bit of work. Now, whoops, sorry about that. Now the teeth are in good condition, meaning that they're all uniform. They don't need to be recut or reprofiled, but the issue that we have there, you see, is they're not all the same height. See how we've got long ones and short ones there? So what needs to be done is that needs to be jointed, and that was what we were going to do today. But thanks to Grobit USA, allegedly, we are not going to be doing that. But jointing means that we'll need to take those down so they're all the same height. And then we can recut them with the small, slim, double taper files. But you can see that right there. So I want to show you, I'll show you something else while we've got the microscope out here. Mrs. W purchased me a very nice, she asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said I want a Veritas 13 TPI rip saw, dovetail saw, which is what we have, right? Excuse me, 14 TPI, which is what we have here. Let's take a look at that. And I haven't seen this yet on the electron microscope. This is the Veritas grind. Interesting. Do you see? Interesting to look at it under the macro level here. Every other tooth has got a tool mark in it. They must have a machine that sets those teeth on that side. So if we flip it, are they reversed? They are. Interesting. But do you see how nicely they're filed? Do you see how nice each one is the same? Oops, I am so sorry. Each one is the same height. That white plastic you see on there is just the plastic from the little protective sheath. But nicely done. Japanese made blade. American and Canadian made handle and back. That's nice. Interesting. I wonder how they set them. Those tool marks. That is very interesting, isn't it? Let's take a look at the saws together here. I'll share that with you. Here we can get rid of this rubbish. It doesn't belong on the same table as these fine tools. So here we have, oh yeah, I've got cords. These tabletop reviews are all these things are hard to do. Lighting. Goodness, lighting's not very good on this video, but I apologize for that. So here is the, here you can see, this here that I'll file that in a crosscut type of pattern. We'll talk more about that when we're filing for doing general work, miters and such, all sorts of things. This be the go-to saw, where this saw, the Veritas, is going to be, or already is, filed in a rip pattern. This is a saw that be used for dovetails. Now the reason why I went with this saw right here is that you guys know that I am a big fan of Paul Seller's channel, and he has 50 years experience of fine woodworking, working with hand tools. I don't know of anyone that I would trust more. Well, there isn't anyone that I would trust more. Not that there's not someone out there. When he says something, I trust him, and I don't have to double check it because he's an honorable guy. He says it how it is. And so he said, in regards, when a guy's looking for saws, is of course these old Atkins, or these Distons, and I think maybe some of the Atkins are the finest saws that were ever made, especially the brass back saws. And there's a couple other manufacturers that he has if you go to his blog. But he said if you can't find one of these, or you are just not up for the ability of restoring one, or don't have the time, or don't want to sharpen them, or don't know how to sharpen them, he said if a great saw to go with for a great price is this Veritas. And I had never seen one. I just read his articles, and I thought, well, if Paul says it, then I'll go with it. I trust him. And I had an expectation, because this is an expensive saw, but not super expensive. I think it was $69 Mrs. W paid for this, which for $69 for fine woodworking tools is not a great deal of money. It really isn't. We're talking about a saw that can be resharpened, that can be used for the rest of your life, a quality saw. So I mean, I don't believe in miracles when it comes to manufacturers. Okay, it's a $70 saw. My expectations were not super high. I thought it'll probably be good enough until I could find something like this. With that being said, when it showed up, I was absolutely astonished of the quality of how well it's made. I thought this was going to be plastic or something. It is a beautiful saw. I mean, it's exquisite. If you would have told me, if I didn't know anything about it, the name wasn't on it, and someone were to say to me, put this in my hand and say, this is a $300, this is a $375 saw, I would have looked at it, I would have felt the rosewood handle, I think it's rosewood, walnut, whatever it is, it's beautiful, and I would have said, yep, certainly is. I have no doubt that is a beautiful saw. Japanese made blade. American and Canadian made, and this back is all steel and a brass. Look at the brass. No, you can't because it won't focus there. But my goodness, what a saw. Now, with that being said, I haven't used it a lot. I haven't cut dovetails with it, and my opinion may change. But just from my initial reaction of it, my goodness, what a beautiful saw. What a fantastic saw for $68, $69. Man, I don't know how they do it. I really don't. I don't know how they produce this beautifully, just exquisitely made handle. It feels like it was custom made for my hand. Wonderful. What a wonderful tool. These can be sharpened too. So all that stuff will be coming up in the future. But I don't know where to get a decent file. I don't know how to get the Baco files. I don't know how to find something that is going to be of quality, because I'm certainly not going to use this rubbish on a saw like this. I have a jointer and good files that were made over 100 years ago that we'll use to joint this. Everything will be beautiful, but I'm certainly not going to put one of these things on there. It'll come out worse than when I started. Terrible. Shameful. So I'll tell you, young guys and you old guys, anyone who is tired of working for the man and you want to start a business, you find something that you're passionate about. Whether maybe it's making saws like this, maybe it's making as I said, axes or socks or whatever, and you make it the very best, and you offer a fair price. You got to make a profit, offer a fair price, and make a quality product, and you will never go out of business. I'm sick of it. I'm just so sick of purchasing things that are so disappointing. Perfect. I'll leave you with one story about how buying cheap, how buying Walmart quality, it doesn't save you money, and it ends up costing you more money. So I go out on a wildland fire. This is the first fire of the year last year. And our chief said, "Oh, you're only going to be out for a day." It was the first fire. It was a really early one, so I didn't really have my war bag packed and all that thing. So I grabbed just my line gear, my basic stuff, like you would if you're going to go out on a fire for one day. Well, that fire blew up and turned into 3 fires, and we were gone for 7 days. And I didn't have sleeping bag, I didn't have socks, I didn't have anything except for just what I had taken that day. So 3 days we spent sleeping on the gym floor underneath my coat and using my line gear for a pillow on a hard floor because there was nothing around, nothing we could go buy. Finally, we got kicked off that fire, sent to another one. Everyone from my engine company that was with me, they were in the same state I was. So we go to Walmart. It was the only thing in town. I needed some socks. One thing about wildland firefighting is you need good socks and you need good boots. So I go into Walmart, and of course, what do they have there? And I'm super particular about my socks. I buy socks, I'm not saying this to brag, but the socks that I wear wildland firefighting are $32 a pair, and I have 14. I have 14 pair of them. Yeah, 14 pair. And that sounds like a lot of money, and it is, and it's an investment, but these are socks that I wear on these fires, and I have to have them. I have to have the tools to be in my boots for 14, 16 hours a day, and nothing else will do. So I buy the Walmart socks, and I wear them, and my feet are hurting, and my feet are blistering, and I'm uncomfortable, and everyone else is in the same boat. And and they weren't super cheap either. They're touted as, these are workman socks, these are heavy-duty socks. They were garbage. Everything that we bought there, from a bath towel to a sleeping mattress that guys started rolling out and they've got holes in them, all of it was garbage. And it was just throwaway, useless items. Not only was it garbage, but it was uncomfortable and it was unsafe to use. And so when I got home after that experience, what do you think I did with those socks? All that money, the guy might think he's saving buying those socks. I threw them in the trash. I'll never wear those socks again. They were not fit to be on my feet. They're not fit to be on anyone's feet. And it makes me mad that stuff is put out there. And it's not just the manufacturer's fault. It's our fault as well. We have demanded cheaper, cheaper, cheaper. Everything's got to be cheaper. Everything's got to be cheaper. So what is a manufacturer to do? If a manufacturer, as many of them have went out of business, that have produced high quality items, people won't buy them because Walmart moves into town and offers what they tout as the same thing. And people say it's the same thing, but it's not the same thing. And so a manufacturer that's trying to do the right thing and trying to produce a good product goes out of business. And that's our fault. So we're all to blame for this. But we need to step up and we need to demand quality. We need to get on the use YouTube and use the internet. When someone is manufacturing something that is rubbish, crucify them online. Make a video about it. Share it on social media. Tell everyone that this is not worth having. But also on the flip side, when a manufacturer makes something that's fantastic, again, I want to preface it, I haven't used it yet, but I have no doubt that it's going to be a wonderful saw from what I've read. Tell them about it. Do a video about it like I'll be doing, and talk about what a great tool it is and how much you enjoy it, and share this information, and we can cut through all of the manufacturer's hype and nonsense and promote and share quality products with us. That's one of my favorite things on YouTube. That's how I found YouTube and got started, was searching for manufacturers. And I love it. I love to try to narrow down a backpack or something, a related item between a couple. And I go to the manufacturer sites, and I'm not going to get the truth there. But I can go to the hardworking guy, the guy that bought it with his own money, that's used it for a week or two, providing he's not a fanboy. You got to wade through all of that. But you can get a guy that can speak the truth honestly about it. Then you can really get to the bottom of it and make a decision on which one it is that you want. And it's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing that we have with this. And manufacturers are starting to get on board and figure it out. And we need to exploit it. And we can change the way things are done and support these small companies that are producing these products. And I do that. I was reading an email this morning. I know I'm going on. I'm going to be ranting here in a minute. From a subscriber that said, or an ex-subscriber said, I'm unsubscribing because you're a sellout. And I'm not watching your videos anymore. And I'm not going to go on. He went on and on about it, and that's his right. And he can have that opinion. But what he's referring to are small companies. Like, I have featured products from the companies that made like the come-alongs and small manufacturers that, and I don't get anything from it. I don't get paid for that. I don't take kickbacks for that. You don't see me doing videos for manufacturers. But I will support small companies, and I'm not looking to get anything about it. Of course, I'm going to ask for the sample. I'm not going to go out and buy a come-along for $250 to test it, because I already have 3 or 4 of them. Are they as good? No, but I can't do that. So yes, I get that portion out of it, but if it's no good, I'm going to tell you it's no good. The lever axe, perfect example. Everyone is on the internet talking about how wonderful that was. $400 goofy splitting ball. Manufacturer contacted me. I did a review. I had 4 of them, so I had a good cross section of samples. It was rubbish. It was rubbish, and I said as much. I do not shill for manufacturers, and I won't. I have turned down brand deals for manufacturers that are pushing up into $10,000. All I would have had to have done is make a 6-minute video talking about this product. I didn't even have to say that I liked it, and I would have been paid that money, and I don't do it. Because the integrity of the channel, the hard work that I've put into it, and the respect that I have for my subscribers, I'm not going to do that. It's a short-term gain and a long-term. What is your credibility worth? What is your integrity worth on a channel? Is it worth, if you take a brand deal like that you don't believe in and you know that's not good or something you would never use, that's what you're worth. That's what your integrity worth. That's what you can be bought for, whether it be free product or a $10,000, $15,000, $3,000 brand deal. I will feature products that I support and like. I will feature products that are sent to me that I like. I will request products if I think that they're really good. I will share products that I bought with my own money if I like them. But I'm not going to sell out, and I'm not going to be a shill or prostitute my channel for a manufacturer. But you can be sure when I tell you something that I am using with my hands, that I have bought or even that I have received, that I will not tell you it's good if it's not. So I'll give you that. I'll commit to you there. I have already. It should be apparent by now, but people join the channel, and I'm not surprised, because there's so many people that whore their channels out on YouTube and are fanboys and are doing reviews for money that it makes it difficult to wade through. So, oh boy, what a ranting now. Don't buy these files.